Alright guys, TacticalRab again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. With the CDL versus Warzone tournament coming up in just a couple of days, we have many leaks arriving, especially from the main man himself, Shotzzy, back in business, baby, discussing some of the teams that are going to be going down. He reveals his own teammate for the tournament. A very scary roster indeed, if this is how things are going to play out in this 2 versus 2 environment going forward into the rest of the tourney. Very much enjoyed to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into here. These I thought was great as well, especially if you guys are fans of darts. Like, seeing the boys walk out here onto the stage. Wow, this would be, I mean, I know that everyone talks about the boxing matches and stuff, and like how entertaining they could be, influencer boxing and all this, but man, like, influencer darts would be comedy. If we could get something like this set up at a con event, can you imagine? Like, it wouldn't be particularly, okay, it'd probably be pretty difficult to set up, to be fair, but it wouldn't require that much space to do. So maybe that's a good one to look into. I wanted to mention this as well from Pro Reborn here. Now, I don't know what he's talking about, and I think that if what he's talking about is something like massive league, really big news, I feel like some other source would also be talking about it. But as he says, just heard something down the grapevine about something that happened in COD, and the internet will be in shambles when it services. That's all I'll say. Broken up. I really, these tweets really get to me. I don't know. It's like, you got intel, but you don't want to say it. So what's even the point tweeting it? But whatever. I understand it. It's impression farming. And as he then says, just a PSA, I'll say no more, since some people are thinking this is a life or death thing. No, it's not a scandal. It's not a death. Nothing, not something dramatic. It's something that will signify the end of an era of our beloved game franchise. He then also says it's not CDL related. It's related to the main titles. So either it's like, if this is even true, and it turned out to be true, either it's like a decision from Activision, whether, you know, because we know those servers have recently come back online for the older games, and apparently the rumor was that Microsoft has basically done that themselves because they're buying Activision, right? So I don't know if it's something to do with that. It might be something to do with like what the developer situation looks like, you know, calling it a day or something. But I really have no idea, and frankly, we're not going to know until closer to the time if this is even coming true, to be honest. Now, the other rumor that was going around that has actually now been confirmed is that indeed, and like, I can't blame Activision about it, they are fleecing so hard. They really just love the cash, don't they? You got to respect it. I mean, look, their goal is to maximize, you know, returns for their shareholders. So sure, that's how businesses work. But I think it is pretty funny how this game was seemingly meant to be a follow-on, and it was meant to be a 2-year title and all this stuff. But here we are a year later, and it's officially confirmed that MW3 is a full premium release and will be priced at $70. So there's no upgrade price. It's not an expansion, but yeah, it's a premium. I mean, premium, it's a funny word, right? Because like premium is, it's meant to be good, right? If something's premium, it's good quality. But we know that that might not be the case. So Activision, they're not getting my money again. I mean, I didn't buy last year's game. I'm not going to buy this year's game. Unless it's actually a lot better. Maybe it is. Maybe it deserves my attention. But, you know, they ain't fooling me again. They fooled me enough times over the last couple of years. But they know that this business model works of one game a year, and they didn't want to go away from it. Maybe Microsoft will have different ideas down the line as well. This I thought was an interesting graphic here from the COD League discussing the most successful COD team in CDL history, no doubt. Like, the numbers on this chart are absurd. And it just makes me wonder, like, how have they not won more events in some way? Like, looking back at the CDL 2020 season, that was actually their best average placement. Now, this is partly due to the fact that there were a lot of these online, only 8 teams were their tournaments, and it really was just that Major 5 placing in Cold War that set them back, because that Cold War season, excluding Major 5, when Nicky D knocked them out of the tourney on Seattle Surge, first, second, first, 8th, first. I mean, it's just such an outrageous season. But even the year before that, look how many events we had back then as well. I know that there was the pandemic and they were home series and they weren't great, but there was a bit more COD going on, you could argue, back then. I don't know. Champs was a bit later in the year, all these things. But still, I mean, that season, first, fourth, second, first, second, fourth, second. I mean, wow, that is gutting for FaZe. That season was so ridiculous. They could play literally anyone in the finals and they would lose. And it was the same thing in Vanguard, right? Like, second, 4 of them in the year. I mean, look, FaZe have won a lot, but there is something to be said about why they lose all these finals, right? This most recent year, their final success rate was 50%. They won in Major 2, they lost at Major 5, but lots of third places outside of that, but no worse than third, which I guess is the first year they've placed no worse than third outside of, I suppose, MW19, where they had a couple of third fourths, because there was no, the bracket didn't work out, so there was actually a third place finish of those tournaments. But I mean, still, the consistency is absolutely remarkable. But I'm sure that Drazah thinks one of his aims here is actually to get these guys to start to win finals a little bit more often because, yeah, their finals record is something like, what, they 7 wins out of 18. So we're talking something like 38% or something. Finals win rate, which is not exactly spectacular. But let's talk about this Warzone CDL thing that's going down. So there's 5 tournaments going down over the next couple of weeks. Some of them are going to be, well, S&D and maybe Hardpoint as well, hopefully. Some of them are going to be Warzone based. And it's pretty much teaming up with a Call of Duty Pro, with a Warzone Pro, and, well, having them duke it out to see, well, okay, between all the different teams to see who's best. And then at the end, it's apparently going to be CDL versus Warzone, which is probably what we really want to see. So Leakzzy last night was back in business. He's been pretty conservative, I've got to say. I think he's done quite well over the last few weeks, not leaking that much. You guys remember the game chat or whatever it was with OpTic, when it was Pred who was leaking absolutely everything, and Shotzzy was biting his tongue. I think he's learning a little bit here, not to just leak everything all the time. I know that he will still do so, but, you know, for now he's done a pretty good job over the last couple of weeks. But for this tournament, there was no holding back at all. It's put on by the CDL in part. I know that there's many people that have been involved in actually trying to make this happen, but he does confirm that his teammate will be Vikul, which is a pretty big deal actually, because Vikul also very good on the movement side and was one of the big kind of protagonists, shall we say, when it was the CDL versus Warzone 1v1s that Zuma was putting on at the start of Vanguard, when it was like, alright, MettalZ versus Vikul 1v1, Vikul versus Aiden, or MettalZ versus Aiden, whatever it was they were doing at the time. Like, Vikul was doing rather well in those situations. Obviously, Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, slightly different story, but Shotzzy and Vikul seems like a team to beat.
Yeah, Chad. All right, so listen, bro. Everyone listen, on the 13th or on the 16th, we're playing that tournament with Vikul. I'm not sure if that shit's even announced, but I just told you my teammate. I haven't really been keeping up, but I don't even know how it works, dude. I'm just showing up. Yeah, I'm just showing up.
All right. So Celly's in the tournament. aBeZy, Asim, Shotzzy. I'm pretty sure. You know what? Then Illy. Then let me just double check that they said yes. Let me just double check, because just in case I'm not leaking anything. Like, people know, a lot of people know about this, but okay. And then Capsidal. We're missing 2. Chat. We're missing 2 players that I'm not gonna say them for sure because they don't, like, they still gotta find teams and stuff like that. But so far, that's what I can say at the moment. Remember, chat. It's an 8-team double elimination bracket.
Is it right for me to leak somebody else's squad? Because like Shotzzy leaked his own squad. Is it right for me to leak somebody else's squad? Leak Sage's squad? Sage, yeah. Sage is playing with Asim. Yeah, I don't give a. Yeah, Sage is playing with Asim. Yeah, Sage is playing with Asim.
So Repulse as well also leaks a couple of other things that are going on, especially all the players that are getting involved. And he pretty much says there's 8 pros, right? So I'm guessing this is like 2v2, right, for the time being, which I guess makes sense because you can't really do Warzone kill races in 4v4. So I guess you need a team of 2, 1 CDL Pro, 1 Warzone creator, so then you can do Warzone kill races with all the 4. I guess that's how they're going to do it, right? All 4 drop into a lobby together, and then, you know, they split off around the map, I guess, and try and get as many kills as they can. That was how the Fortnite competitive stuff used to be done back in the day when I used to watch that. That used to be absolutely fantastic. Then I suppose it means that 2v2 searches, but then also you got to think, like, is 2v2 hardpoint that viable? On certain games, 2v2 hardpoint plays quite well, and certainly can do. It's all about spawn knowledge, really, at the end of the day. But yeah, so maybe there's something in that. But it seems to be the way it's going to be, right? So Asim has his teammate getting ready to go, and Sage, or I'm not exactly so familiar with all the Warzone guys. I know that a lot of you guys are saying as well that all these Warzone players, some of them have questionable integrity, shall we say, because, I mean, look, they're not competing in a professional league. There isn't necessarily too many restrictions on if you've got the Cronus, if you're using things to get you on a VPN, so you're on a different server, or whatever the things are that people do to get a competitive advantage. there's a lot of things that Warzone players have tried, and look, I don't know how many of them actually have got away with this stuff or still do it to the present day, but you can be pretty sure that all of them are cheesing the sound equalization, can't you? And look, it's not like the CDL pros aren't as well, but the word on the street as of yesterday was that they were going to not do that, and they were going to somehow turn it off. But, you know, this is the thing, even if they say they've turned it off, have they actually? Who's going to check it? And if someone gets heard halfway across the map in a hardpoint game or Modern Warfare 2, let's say Fortress Hardpoint 2v2 or something, there's going to be questions being raised, even if they were meant to turn it off. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, guys. I really didn't mean to keep it on. And all this stuff could potentially happen. But I'm guessing Repulse there meant Cellium at the start. He said like Celly or Silly or something. I'm guessing he meant Cellium. I'm not exactly sure. Sounds like he would probably want to get involved. Cellium here, like aBeZy and Illy as well getting involved. And we heard Asim is playing a couple of other ones they're not so sure of quite yet. Of course, Shotzzy's going to be there with Biffle, which is definitely a good team on paper. So we'll probably see the teams over the coming days. They might have even been announced by the time this video goes live, but Shotzzy, of course, revealing things ahead of time as usual. Speaking of Shotzzy, I did want to mention this hot take that he came up with. Now, this is not a hot take at all, but Shotzzy's following take maybe is a bit of a hot take. So he comes up with, Nuketown is not an S-tier map. Now, he actually clarifies, because, I mean, I don't think this is a hot take. Like, Nuketown S-tier? Like, come on. I mean, there's not many S-tier maps in COD history. Nuketown certainly isn't as far as I'm concerned. Is it, however, an F-tier map? Because this is what Shotzzy says. Belongs in F-tier. Now, Shotzzy, as far as I'm concerned, won't have probably experienced the Nuketowns of old. I mean, what was the first COD that he actually would have played Nuketown in? Maybe he played it in Black Ops 3, right? Nuketown with a 3 or whatever they used to call it in that game. And these are all the variations of Nuketown over time, from Black Ops to Black Ops 2, Black Ops 2 Zombies, which was basically the Black Ops 1 map, but when the nuke had actually gone off or something, Black Ops 3... And to be fair, I agree, in the most recent games, Black Ops 4, Cold War, Nuketown just hasn't quite felt the same. Black Ops 1, Nuketown was just fantastic as far as I'm concerned. I know that the map is the same, right? Like, it is literally the same design and everything pretty much. But, I don't know, there was something about Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 Nuketown that was fantastic. I wouldn't say any of those were S tier. Like, I'd say they were solid A tier maps because it's a tiny map. It has its problems. For example, Black Ops 1, there was no... If you threw a Semtex grenade... Like, Black Ops 2, you guys probably remember, there was a 10-second delay. So 10 seconds after the start of the rounds, your grenades wouldn't be active. That didn't exist in Black Ops 1. So if you ran out of spawn, you could just get naded immediately, and it would happen. So that was something you had to watch out for on Black Ops 1. But I don't know, I really loved it on those two games. Since then, I don't think it was quite the same. Sometimes it feels like things like movement speed or just the way the weapons work and like how fast you move as a character can kind of make the map bigger or smaller. Because in Black Ops 1, you didn't seem to move that fast. So the map like plays a little bit bigger than I think it was in reality, and it played bigger than it did certainly in some of the upcoming titles, where like Cold War, it felt like you were so fast that the map played really tiny, whereas Black Ops 1, it was a bit more of like an actual... It took you some time to get from one side to the other is how I felt, which is maybe how it should be. And if you did get your like Blackbird, Chopper Gunner, dogs on this map, like you would just run riot on Nuketown, right? Like the Chopper Gunner was unreal on the map. It was spawn killing for days if the other team didn't just straight quit out of the lobby, which is usually, to be honest, what they would decide to do. But very much interested to hear your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
I'm gonna stun again. Listen, yo, listen. He's been going cat room every single time. If you want me to, I can stun check him. You can rush him.
Okay.
Yo, nothing stun middle.
Okay, top pot,
Jump to the left.
Yo, what's banging me? I gotta get back.
I didn't stun nothing. I didn't stun nothing. Ivor left steps cross.
I'm gonna back out.
You saw catch.
You hear him?
Yeah.
Alright, one guy could be freezer too.
Nothing cross left. Nothing cross before.
Okay, I'm gonna back.
Yeah, I'm gonna...
Is that their nade tent? They just needed freezer.
I think I got a time in.
Okay.
Good job, eh?
Yeah, can you clear my info though, Brendan?
Yeah, one guy was pushed up.
A little bit. Little bit.
One's gonna be info. One's info. One's info.
Yeah, one's definitely pushed up.
No, one info.
I think he is. Or no?
No.
He's pushing out rogues.
What's your top class?
Yo, he's cat room.
I'm planning away from bed.
One guy's bottom bed.
Yeah,
I have all the top class.
Yo, they could be got top bed from top cat. Just heads up.
I'm in top bed.
Oh, we're missing a little bit.
What's open?
Top bed then.
Like you said,
One's low bed.
One guy's info me.
Info.
Trying this guy info.
Info really weak. Nice. Do you have bomb?
Yeah, no bomb. No,
yeah,
I just
he's on bomb.
Control.
He's one shot.
He's info or be control. Bottom.
Nice. Good shot.
Nice. Good plays, eh?
Good shot.